Our next session is on transforming sustainability by Rajnish Kumar, Director, Commercial, Manufacturing and Projects, Sakata Inc. In this session, he will talk about sustainability practices and their impact on the industry. Please welcome Rajnish.
Can you hear me? Okay. So, good afternoon. I think after lunchtime and tea break, it's a bit a tiring slot I have got. Okay. And since morning we are discussing a lot of SAP's application, which is more around the business processes. It's a very good business processes to make money, but now SAP has solutions for a very important topic, which is I think coming into the core of the industrial operation is the sustainability. And I am going to talk about that because this is the module which we have recently got with our S4 HANA implementation. So, let me first tell you about ourselves. So, I am representing Sakata Inc. Corporation, and in India we operate as a Sakata Inc. India Private Limited. We are in manufacturing of printing and packaging inks and coatings. And it's basically our tagline, you can see, create and innovate, care for earth and color for life. Which one is it? So, let me tell you about our company. So, Sakata Inc. Corporation was established in 1896 in Japan. Globally, we have around 5,035 employees. We are number 3 in world in inks and coating industry. And about 95% of our product portfolio is green portfolio, which we call it as a sustainable products. And globally, we have around 36 operations, and in India, we have 2 operations, one in Bangladesh, which again falls under the India entity. And you can see we are into the all type of printing, packaging, product applications. And as a group, we are signatory of the UN Global Compact in 2022, and after which actually our sustainability focus started in a big way. So, when we talk about ink, we think it's a very small product, but believe me, that is the first thing we touch every day. And you can see we are all around you, whether it is food packaging, whether it is milk pouches, whether it is chocolates, medicines, packaging products, home decor, advertising, electronics, greeting cards, posters, our reading books, newspapers. So, everywhere the ink is the component which comes into your contact. And that is why it becomes very important for us as a company to be sustainable in our operation, and specifically when it comes to the product compliance and the product safety, because it directly impacts human life. Simultaneously, the other part of our industry that we are sourcing from almost all major industry segments, whether it is mining, chemical, oil and gas, agriculture, energy sector, metals and plastics. So, practically we are consuming resources and the materials from all industry segments. So, that makes us responsible for being sustainable in sourcing our products and ensuring the right product compliance even while sourcing. So, as an ink industry, it's a very important for us that our operation should be always focused on sustainability as well as the product compliance. So, following our ESG commitment, environmental social governance commitment, after signing the UN mandate, we came out with a very clear focus on these areas, particularly for environment. our focus is on reducing the greenhouse gas emissions through our operations and supply chain, and we are tracking all the scopes like scope 1, 2 and 3. Out of you who are aware about these terminologies, so scope 1 is the direct emissions which we cause by consumption of fuel. Scope 2 is the emissions which are caused by the consumption of the electricity. And scope 3 has almost 12 categories which covers end-to-end supply chain, right from sourcing to end of afterlife uses of the product. So, managing this whole accounting of the carbon emission is a very tedious task, and that is what we have started as a base year in 2022, and we have set a clear target for reduction into all these 3 scopes. Second target is promoting the environment friendly product. When I say environment friendly product, so our 60 to 70% ingredient for that particular product should be from the plant root. And that is how it can be defined as an environment friendly, or at least all the ingredients should be fully complied with the various safety regulations, particularly with respect to food and the direct contact material. We are consistently increasing our renewable energy ratio, so tracking that performance is very important for us, and conserving biodiversity is again an important topic for us. Coming to governance, so complying with all the laws and regulations, fair competition and business practice, risk management and compliance, particularly the product safety compliance when we are exporting products to various countries. And on social aspect, it is our responsibility that whatever product we are manufacturing is safe for use, because many of the products goes into direct contact of the food or indirect contact of the food, and creating a safe and healthy work environment within our premises also, because ink industry historically has been handling a lot of hazardous products, lot of hazardous substances, solvents. Gradually it is shifting towards the safer ingredients, but that is one of the major responsibility. And other fundamental is enhancing the diversity, equity and inclusion, and promoting the CSR. So, basically we have decided to go for a complete sustainability transformation as an organization, the complete energy transformation and the complete digital transformation. So, in this process I will talk one by one. So, this for the greenhouse gas reduction, which is one of the major focus area for us, we have we got set up the science based targets. SBT is a secretariat which basically validate our CO2 emission reduction actions and the targets, and certifies that whether they are aligned with the Paris Agreement or not. So, as a Sakata, we have been successfully certified by SBT in terms of our target. And if you see on the right side, so our target is around 5% year on year reduction on gross CO2 emissions, not the unit CO2 emission, gross CO2 emission, in spite of growing our business at a CAGR of 6 to 7%. So, that is very stringent and very important target for us. And for scope 3, it is a target we have taken that 80% of our suppliers should be educated about setting the CO2 emission reduction targets, and we should be partnering with them and helping them into making their operations sustainable. So, these are the basically SBT targets we have taken. And initially when we started SBT, it was more focused on like CO2 reduction, greenhouse gas reduction, but there are a lot of other benefits which any company can get from these targets. One is the investors, attracting the investors, being a sustainable company. Secondly, the customers, because customers are becoming more environment sensitive nowadays. So, it is very important for customers also to assess the product whether it is sustainable for them. And the suppliers. So, setting up the targets for suppliers is again making an overall impact on the entire supply chain. And most important, what I have observed personally in last 2-3 years, that the employee engagement on various innovative improvements, the process improvement activity, the power consumption reduction activity, the cost saving activities has been increased significantly, because now we are focusing on that as a clear, taking a clear target. And obviously, like we don't know when this carbon tax and how much it will be implemented, but getting the organization ready for that sort of scenario is also very important, so that you can maintain your competitiveness in the long run. Also, you can see as an ink manufacturer, we have to comply with so many regulations, whether it is a BIS, Environmental Protection Agency regulation, OSHA's REACH, classification, labeling and packaging regulations, the restriction of hazardous substances. So, all these regulations, whenever we supply any product or particularly when we export, these becomes very important for us. And any non-compliance into these products can be a big issue for the organization's reputation and in terms of the cost impact, financial impact as well. So, material safety data sheet is a key for us, because our material safety data sheet should be very reliable, very robust, and it should be able to identify the key risk involved and the key like substances of the high concern involved into that. So, with this I will just tell you what we are doing or any chemical industry can focus with respect to the sustainability. So, first thing is a very popular nowadays, as far as we can move to the renewable energy generation or sourcing the renewable energy, that will be helpful in terms of the cost as well as the CO2 or greenhouse gas emissions. Also, we have done a lot of focused process improvement to reducing the energy need, because once we have started focusing on the unit power consumption reduction, there has been a lot of kaizens and there has been a lot of ideas coming from the team to reduce the energy consumption, which has given us a very good financial benefit and enhancement in the profitability. Then in that process, we started exploring the energy efficient technologies. So, in ink manufacturing, basically it is the mixing, grinding, composition. So, it is a quite energy intensive manufacturing process. And when we started focusing on the energy consumption reduction, automatically we got a lot of ideas from our employees and various team members about the energy conservation and the energy reduction. Then eliminating the waste, because scope 3, the waste is a major area which impacts your scope 3 emissions. So, that is another focus area which you are targeting. And end of life product recycling is an issue for particularly the packaging industry, because today any food item we take is a multi-layer packaging, which is basically we call it recyclable, but it is a very difficult process to recycle, because it has layer of the different materials, ink coatings, various other coatings, and each chemical needs a different recycling mode. So, generally India may like what happens, these pouches and polythenes are being burned or thrown into the garbage. So, for our industry or entire packaging industry, one of the major focus area going forward is how to make our product recyclable, easily recyclable, and reducing the number of layers, making it still safe for use. So, that is one area which our R&D is focusing very strongly. Other initiatives we have to continue, like energy saver office infrastructure and all that, and educating our employees and aligning them with the vision of the organization for ESG is another important topic for us. We have developed a lot of environment friendly products and also done a good job on the recycling of our products. And you can see the benefits, like we have reduced almost 1500 tons of CO2 per year in last 2 years, and around 40% supplier we have been able to educate so far. And we have also achieved around 3% reduction into our waste generation so far. So, this was a background that why we have gone for the SAP EHS and sustainability footprint module. So, we implemented SAP ECS in 2007, And 2024, we decided to migrate to S4 HANA. And during that process, SAP introduced us to this module, and we find it very useful for our greenhouse gas accounting, our product compliance, and management of SDS. So this gives us what my observation so far is, it's a very good comprehensive suite of tool with a lot of functionalities. It gives us a very seamless integration capability with our business processes, capturing data, converting it into the CO2 emission, or managing the product safety compliance. Then it gives us a very good reporting formats for the sustainability reporting, and a very robust MSDS management we have achieved by that. And obviously, the SAP has a good track record of business processes. So obviously, it is a very trusted name for us. So basically, what we have implemented in sustainability footprint module is tracking of the greenhouse gas emissions for each and every category. So scope 1, 2, and all the categories of scope 3. And these data calculation for all these categories is being directly fetched from our business transactions. Suppose I have to calculate data for purchase goods. So as soon as I do the purchasing of a particular quantity of material, system automatically generates the information that how much CO2 has been generated in purchasing of that material. So all the categories are fully linked with our business transactions. There are very little data input which we have to do our calculations. I remember in 2022, when I was creating the base data, no one in the organization was able to understand how to do it. I personally talked to Japan team. They have given me the IDA database. We had around 800 raw materials. I have spent almost a month to going each and every raw material, understanding its conversion coefficient, putting it into an Excel sheet, and then converting that data. And it's not possible for any industry to maintain that on a regular basis. So that is a good functionality we have got here. So this is how this is going to work. So it's a very simple, and there will be some daily monitoring reports which need to be fed into the system. There are certain material management transactions that will fetch convert the CO2 equivalent CO2 data into the system, and finally the system is going to generate the report for us in a proper format which top management or even the site management can use for their regular performance tracking. Then the second part of this module was the product compliance. And here we wanted to streamline process with the automated product compliance assessment, stay up to date with the regulatory compliance, because ink manufacturing looks simple, but it's very complex, because in any formulation around 60-70 ingredients are going, and all are different chemicals. So which one is banned, which one has a limitation on the quantity, it's very difficult to depend on the human. There may be a possibility of human error. So that is what we wanted to trap and mitigate the risk of the compliance control. So we have basically gone for the substance volume tracking module, the global level management module, and the SDS, the automation of the safety data sheet management. And on the top you can see it is a customized solution, it is a standard solution of SAP, but we have customized it for our operation. So basically we have defined the phrases, we have defined the phrase sets, templates, which is interacting with the SAP and then giving us the output for all the three areas of the product compliance. So basically by implementation of these modules, we are able to address these main 5 SDGs from the product compliance module, and SDG number 13, which is a climate action by our the greenhouse gas emission tracking. Thank you. So any questions? Yes? पूछ लेने दो, एक पूछ रहे हैं.
I have two questions.
Yes.
You did mention about you are capturing CO2 consumption during, while making every transactions. Now, let's say, for example, good receipts. You might be receiving the same good from multiple sources. So, how you ensure the quantity of CO2, right quantity of CO2 is captured, so that you do the accurate reporting. So that is one question. My second question is there any requirement from customer to get the green credit for the product which is produced out of sustainable raw material? Have you come across that requirement?
So, answering to your first question, so in terms of the capturing data for each purchase, because every supplier is defined with the CO2 coefficient, every material is defined with the CO2 coefficient. So, whenever I am doing that transaction, suppose I have purchased 1 ton of material from X supplier and he has declared us that how much CO2 emission per ton of his product he is generating, that data is already there into the system. And based on that, it calculates that if I am sourcing, I have 3 suppliers, I can know apart from the price, what will be the CO2 impact if I source from these suppliers.
Now, probably, the mode of transport must be changing every
so
now and then.
Yes, so there are coefficients, standard coefficient defined. If you are transporting by, say, CNG truck, if you are transporting by diesel truck, what distance you are traveling. So there are a lot of information which goes into the master data as a standard coefficients.
And how often you review that master data?
So see, master data generally it is being published by the agencies like UKGHG or other platforms, similar platforms on an annual basis. So it's a good enough to review. See, scope 3 accounting, if you are able to calculate 70-80% even, that's a good enough. Okay. It cannot be 100% because it's more a theoretical data. It's like what right reference you can choose out of the available data, that is the most important thing.
Okay. So my second question is, these days, because we are also facing that requirement from customer, that customer wants green credit for the goods which is produced from the sustainable raw material. Now in your industry, for your manufacturing setup also, probably you might be using chemical, you might be using some herbal raw material to produce similar product. So if customer is asking for the green credit, first thing, whether there is any requirement?
No, not now,
okay.
Because at present this is not commercially driven. It is a more of a ESG focused initiative. But as I shown in the slide, like for the carbon credit, we are preparing our database, because when it will come to a commercial linkage, then it has to be a very accurate and it should be a very logical data. So that's what is our target if that comes. And some of the customer has already asked, because all the customers has to submit their scope 3 emission data nowadays. Whosoever is registered with the UN mandate, it is mandatory for them to declare that data on an annual basis. So it is gradually becoming the industry requirement, and later or sooner everyone has to follow the same league.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rajnish.